It's the news update on Trust TV. Hello and welcome. I am Aisha Salihu. Thank you for joining us. The news in detail. We begin with matters of security. Troops of the 6th Brigade Nigerian Army, Jalingo in Taraba State on Monday burst a kidnap syndicate and arrested 3 suspects in a targeted operation to curb criminal activities in the state. In a statement released by the Acting Assistant Director, 6th Brigade Army Public Relations, Captain Olubodunde Oni, the troops from the 6th Brigade and Sector 3 Operation World Stroke during the operation dismantled the notorious kidnapping syndicate that had been terrorizing Jalingo and Lao local government areas. According to the statement made available to journalists in Jalingo on Tuesday, the troops first apprehended 2 suspects, Ali Idi and Haruna Umar, on October 22, 2024, during a raid on a hotel in the Mayo Dessa area of Jalingo. Also, there are indications that the Nigerian Army may be currently experiencing an acute shortage of manpower due to the high number of those who voluntarily retired. It was gathered that one of the units badly hit by the development was the Mechanical Engineering Corps. Reports say over 1,008 soldiers resigned from the Nigerian Army in the last 4 years. According to the report, in 2023, the Nigerian Army approved the retirement of no fewer than 59 soldiers. Earlier in 2022, a total of 261 soldiers resigned in 2021, 127 resigned, and 365 resigned in 2020. The presidency has postponed the screening of 7 ministerial nominees to allow all nominees to conclude all aspects of documentation and pre-screening exercises. The screening exercise was initially scheduled to be held on Tuesday on the floor of the Senate, but the presidency said the exercise has now been shifted to Wednesday at noon. This was contained in a statement on Tuesday by Special Advisor to President Tinubu on Senate matters, Bashir Lado. Last week, President Tinubu sacked 5 ministers and nominated 7 new ones for Senate confirmation. The president also reassigned 10 ministers to new ministerial portfolios and appointed 7 new ministers for Senate confirmation. Tinubu nominated Bianca Odumego Ojukwu as the Minister of State Foreign Affairs, while Nentawe Yewada as the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, officially bringing an end to the tenure, of suspended Betta Edu. The House of Representatives on Tuesday directed its Committee on Ethics and Privileges to investigate a member of the House, Alex Mascot Ikweche, over allegations of assault on an e-hailing driver. This followed the adoption of a motion on the matter of privilege pursuant to Order 6 of the House Rule moved by the House Leader Julius Ihombere at plenary. Ihombere, while raising the matter, drew the attention of the House to the trending video showing the encounter between a member of the House and a Bolt driver. Ihombere said the action of the member of the House, as captured in the trending video, did not reflect the image and culture of the House. Ihombere said Order 5E of the House Rule stipulated how the matter at hand should be handled and therefore moved that the matter be referred to the House Committee on Ethics and Privileges to investigate and report to the House for further legislative actions. The motion was unanimously adopted when it was put to a voice vote by Deputy Speaker Benjamin Okezie Kalu, who presided the plenary. Kalu, while ruling on the motion, mandated the Committee on Ethics and Privileges to investigate the matter and report back within 2 weeks. The federal government says it is working on an independent super grid for each of the 19 northern states in Nigeria. Minister of Power Adebayo Adelabu made this known after a meeting with President Tinubu on Monday in Abuja. According to him, the president directed that repair works be sped up to restore power to the northern part of Nigeria. The north has been thrown into a blackout for days following the vandalism of some transmission lines, raising concerns among stakeholders in the region and beyond. To labor matters. The leadership of the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities and the Non-Academic Staff Union of Educational and Associated Institutions have said the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, to pay their 4 months withheld salary following an approval of the payment by President Bola Tinubu. The striking unions ruled out the possibility of any meeting or negotiation with the federal government, insisting that the Ministry of Finance do the needful and remit their withheld salaries electronically to all their members. On Monday, members of both unions commenced on an indefinite nationwide strike within campuses of public universities to demand the immediate release of their 4 months withheld salaries. The two unions said it was appalling that despite several ultimatums issued to the government, no positive result has come from the government. The two unions directed their members in all public universities and inter-university centers throughout the country to hold a joint congress in their respective campuses on Monday, October 28, 2024, and proceed on an indefinite, comprehensive and total strike action, as no concession should be given in any guise. The two unions berated the federal government for paying withheld salaries to the Academic Staff Union of Universities while neglecting the non-academic union. Also, members of the Non-Academic Staff Union of Universities and Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities of University of Ilorin branch have joined the total strike action embarked upon by the two unions across the country to press home their demand for the payment of the withheld 4-month salary arrears in a protest today at the entrance of the University of Ilorin gate. Members of the two unions blocked the entrance and disallowed people from gaining access to the institution. The union leaders lament several efforts made to plead and convince the federal government to pay the money, all to no avail. The strike, they added, is now total, as it will not be suspended until when the full 4 months arrears is paid.
Today we are having an emergency congress to intimate our members and to direct them that we are commencing an indefinite strike today as a result of nonchalant attitude of the federal government to the plight of our welfare. And that was why we are here. You will recall that in the last few months, we've been agitating for the payment of our withheld salary. And part of this payment of when we went for Abuja national protest, the president in his magnanimity directed that this money should be paid to us.
If you also recall that this agreement was as a result of our strike, and we have so many demands that led to that strike before our salary was withheld. And we have been agitating and continuously to be pleading with the federal government that the non-teaching staff in the university does not love to go on strike.
The Ogun State High Court, sitting in Abeokuta, has struck out prayers made by 16 political parties in the state, seeking to postpone the proposed local government elections slated for November 16th indefinitely. Delivering judgment in the suit, the presiding judge, Justice T.A. Okunshokan, rejected the claims of the political parties that the Ogun State Independent Electoral Commission had acted unilaterally and dictatorially by fixing the date of the local government elections without first consulting the political parties. The justice held that there was no provision in the Constitution or the relevant electoral laws that required the state electoral umpire to consult political parties before fixing the dates of elections. The court also found that the claim of the parties that Ondo state governorship elections would be held on the same day as Ogun local government elections is not a legitimate reason for asking the court to compel the State Electoral Commission to postpone elections in the state. The court thereby maintained the status quo ante on the earlier announced date for the Ogun state local government elections slated for 16 November 2024. Meanwhile, the Olu of Warri Ogiame Atuwase III has dissolved the executive of the Ishakiri National Youth Council over the alleged failure to adopt a new constitution. Palace sources noted with concern that the process of having an executive position in the INYC for about 30 years has been by selection of persons loyal to certain leaders. In a palace announcement in Warri on Monday, the Olu of Warri reportedly insisted on the dissolution of the INYC executive to pave the way for a constitution drafting committee and fresh elections into the body. The announcement attributed the dissolution of the NYSC executive to the failure of the youth body to successfully adopt a new constitution and conduct an election to elect new executives at the national and chapter levels. As the hardship occasioned by the increase in the price of petrol bites harder, drivers of hailing apps, also known as ride-hailing apps, have been telling Trust TV how the economic downturn has impacted their businesses. According to the drivers, while most of the apps have increased their fares, such increases have not been commensurate with the present economic realities. Hence, the need to renegotiate with customers offline. Trust TV's Neil Sampson reports.
For some ride-hailing apps drivers, it has been a huge struggle meeting daily, weekly, or monthly targets as the economic downturn has negatively impacted the business.
The main challenge on the app is that they can give you an order, you get, but the order is not coming by satisfaction. You as a driver, you can decide, to at least talk to the customer if he can accept or they can accept. You can do away with the app, as in like bargain out of the app.
Sometimes you have to negotiate with the passenger. Aside from the app that is initiated, the price that is initiated on the app, because the distance you are going to cover, that amount given by the app doesn't commiserate with it. It doesn't match. So when you go, it's like you're wasting your fare for nothing. So it's really, really hard on us. We are only working to eat. You don't save anymore. To repair your car is a problem.
To make up for the operational costs like fuel and car maintenance, these drivers say they have resorted to charging their clients offline. However, the challenge is that not many of the customers agree to be charged offline.
Seriously, it's just like 40%. It's just like 40%.
Like before, they used to, yes, I agree, but recently, they don't, because given the security challenges in Abuja, particularly kidnappings, whatever they're about, they are no more agreeing with going offline. When you tell them you want to go offline to avoid the apps from taking that percentage, they will say no. They are concerned with their security too. So you as a driver, you don't have to insist.
Francis Chukwu, a businessman who makes use of these hailing apps for his business, tells us how he handles the offline chat situations with the hailing app drivers.
It just depends if I am in a hurry, because what they do is when they come, they give you a different amount, and if you cannot pay, you just cancel the ride. It's either you cancel the ride from your end or the riders cancel the ride. So when they cancel the ride, you can rebook for another ride, and hopefully enough you can get someone that will go for that amount on the app. But if you are in a hurry and you need your goods to be delivered, or you need to be in a place at a time, you just pay the additional amount that they are adding to it.
With transportation remaining a critical aspect of daily business transactions, operators of these ride-hailing apps, as well as other Nigerians, are hopeful that government will intervene with alternatives to petrol or effect a reduction in the pump price of fuel. No, Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
You're watching the news update coming to you live from Trust TV studios in the nation's capital. Coming up ahead. Kano ice sellers now rely on supplies from Niger Republic, Abuja, as power outage enters 9th day. We'll bring you details of this story and more after the break. Don't go away. Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Let's have another look at some of our top stories. Military bursts kidnap syndicate, arrest 3 suspects in Taraba. Senate postpones screening of ministerial nominees. And to other stories. The Nigerian Medical Association Rivers State Branch says the nation every year since 2019 loses at least 2,000 doctors to foreign nations from various fields, leaving behind a workforce impoverished health sector. Chairman of NMA in the state, Tamunokuro Diamond, who made this known at a briefing as part of the event marking the 2024 Physicians Week, said the nation's health space is plagued with the tripod evil of brain drain, outbreak of communicable diseases, and the epidemic of non-communicable diseases. The report.
Dr. Diamond identified insecurity, suboptimal working conditions, and inadequate remuneration as key push factors in the health sector, calling on the government at all levels to wake up to their key responsibilities.
No doctor, and I repeat, no doctor can function optimally in environments where he or she is still being kidnapped for ransom, like a piece of object, harassed by armed men, assaulted by patient relatives, and sometimes by local vigilantes, and even task force with all kinds of nomenclature. The lives of Nigerian doctors matter, and the time to act is now to avoid a complete collapse of the Nigerian health system.
The NMA chairman assured that the association is working with the State Ministry of Health to address the issue of quackery. He also called on government on the need to regularize promotion as well as payment of grants and other benefits to doctors and health workers.
Our message is simple: Rivers lives matter. We urge River citizens to join us in this fight against quacks in the health sector. Report any facility you suspect will be operating illegally or openly advertising their services, usually on social media spaces, with spurious claims of results that never shipped. This can be reported to the Nigerian Medical Association or to the Director of Medical Services, River State Ministry of Health. We will do our due investigation. We will pay unannounced visits to these facilities, and if found culpable, we will carry out facility closures and do our due prosecution.
NMA boss also commended Governor Similayi Fubara for the approval and subsequent implementation of employment of 2,000 health personnel and also approving the promotion of doctors in the state, adding that they have also begun free comprehensive medical outreaches for vulnerable persons in the state.
Ice block sellers in Kano State say they are now forced to rely on supplies from neighboring Niger Republic. This is due to the total blackout in the northern Nigeria in the last 1 week. Sellers say ice is also gotten from Abuja, but the distance and transport costs have sent prices soaring. Trust TV's Abdulaziz Ibrahim, who visited major ice sellers at different places in the state, reports.
This is Digger off Post Office Road, which is usually full of customers, but now business has stopped. This street is usually jam-packed with people, but now that our business has stopped, even those whose businesses rely on ice have had to stop. Ice sellers in different parts of Kano are seeing the same trend. Prices have risen from just 50 naira per block to up to 2,500 naira. The sellers say blocks come from as far as Abuja and Niger Republic. We usually sell ice here from 100 naira to a little above that. But today, blocks brought in here from Abuja and Niger Republic and other places are even selling for as high as 2,000 to 2,500 naira.
Long one, it's too long one. It comes from Abuja, 2,000 they sell for each one. Even my come to Niger, long one, 1,005, 1,006 they sell from Niger. Before light no day, just a block 15 naira, 17 naira. Light no day kuma block is 2 cost. Each one 1,800 they sell block.
For young water sellers like Sani, the situation is even more difficult. With no ice, he can't keep the water cold. This lack of electricity has affected us also, and we don't sell as much as we used to, despite the current economic hardships. Once someone touches the water and realizes it's not cold, they don't buy, and I don't have any means to make the water cold because the ice now has gone beyond what I can buy. Local business and families who depend on affordable ice to preserve food are pleading with the government for help. Cold room operator Muhammad Tajuddin says the ongoing power crisis has left him handicapped.
We've
been without power for a month now. All our sources of livelihood are gone. We need the government to restore power, especially since we are staying close to a NEPA station here. We usually enjoy power a lot in the past, but right now things are very difficult for us. The blackout in northern Nigeria has exposed the fragile state of the region's power supply. For now, Kano residents will continue to struggle with the high prices as they endure the long wait for power to return. Abdulaziz Ibrahim, Trust TV News, Kano.
And to developments in business, the 36 states of the Federation, including the Federal Capital Territory, recorded 2.43 trillion naira in internally generated revenue in 2023. The latest report, released by the National Bureau of Statistics on Monday, said the IGR recorded in 2023 is higher by 26.5% to the 1.92 trillion naira IGR recorded in 2022. IGR is from two major categories of revenues, namely taxes and ministries, departments and agencies revenue. A breakdown by the Bureau said Lagos, FCT and Rivers states topped with the highest IGR. Lagos State had the highest IGR with 815.86 billion naira, representing 33.6% of the total IGR in 2023. Rivers followed with 195.41 billion naira. FCT recorded 211.10 billion naira. Delta State generated 90.91 billion naira. And Ogun recorded 146.87 billion naira. The Northeast Zone recorded the latest IGR with 104.3 billion naira. We'll take it away from Nigeria now. United Nations peacekeepers in the Democratic Republic of Congo, who were meant to leave in December, are staying put for the moment as a result of ongoing violence as M23 rebels press ahead with their offensive. The country's government says it is putting in place a new time frame for their departure. Report says peacekeepers are protecting hundreds of thousands of displaced people. More than 120 armed groups are battling for land and mineral resources in the country's east. The violence has forced around 7 million people from their homes.
United Nations peacekeepers in Congo were meant to leave the country in December, but soaring violence in the east by Rwandan-backed rebels has meant for now the peacekeepers are staying. The UN mission's been there for more than 20 years, tasked with protecting the population. But many Congolese feel like nothing's changed since they've arrived, and that no one is properly defending them. It is unclear right now when the UN is going to leave. The government has said that it is going to create a new timeline for their departure. It is also unclear who is going to step into the gap once the peacekeepers finally do leave.
And finally, in sports, the Nigeria Professional Football League has fined Kano Pillars Football Club 2 million naira for breaching the NPFL framework and rules in the course of their March Day 9 fixture at Nasarawa United on Sunday. The Kano Club have been charged for a statement from their Media and Communications Directorate, quoting their player Ahmed Musa, in which he made disparaging statements about match officials, an act that was perceived as capable of bringing the game to disrepute. According to the statement, Kano Pillars also failed to ensure the proper conduct of their team, resulting to the unruly behavior of Ugochukwu Gabriel during the match. Ugochukwu Gabriel is suspended for the next 9 NPFL 25 matches starting from March Day 10 for his unruly conduct. And that's about it on the news update on Trust TV at this hour. Remember, you can always follow us across all of our social media platforms and also join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs and documentary. I'm Aisha Salihu. Thank you so much for watching. Join us again.